at the Big A, the Angels up by the score of 1-0. We welcome you inside our broadcast booth. Victor Rojas, the Angels general manager Jerry Dipoto, and Mark Gubiza. And obviously it's been a very difficult time for this Angels family over the last 24 hours, making a difficult decision in letting Mickey Hatcher go. How did you finally arrive at that decision?
A difficult one, as you said, but over the course of time is the answer to the question. And we've been watching an offense sputter along for the better half of a month and a half, and we felt like it was time to initiate change and bring a different voice into the mix here. We all love Mickey. He's a fantastic guy and a hard worker, but at a certain point it becomes about the results on the field, and we need to show the guys that there's an urgency.
And you bring in Jim Eppert, a guy that's been working with a number of the young players. How important was that to have that continuity between Jim and, of course, some of the players already on this team?
Oh, it's tremendous. Trumbo, Borges, Kendrick, Ibar, all these guys, Mike Trout, have passed through Jim Eppert on their way to the big leagues. And, I said earlier today, and something, we've heard it as cliche in baseball for so long, it's very difficult to get to the big leagues. It's tougher to stay. And I think for the purpose of these players, these are accomplished major league hitters who are now having difficulty, some of them for the first time in their careers. And this is a time where you need a voice that you're familiar with.
Jerry, obviously it seems as Alexi Ramirez is going to grant out here for the first down. I guess Mike Scioscia has been here a long time, and his contract extends for a longer period of time. I believe it's 2018. I'm not exactly sure on the number of years left on his deal. But that being said, it seems like you've been giving a lot of authority over this franchise, the direction, philosophy, staffing, if you will. How did that conversation go with Mike? Was there a conversation with Mike, and what was his reaction to you deciding finally to say we need to make a change?
Well, ultimately, we'll have a conversation about any moves we make, whether it's player personnel, adding players to the roster, it's staffing decisions, the smallest things. Not an easy conversation to have, truth be told. Mike and Mickey have been together. This is probably the first game he's ever managed without Mickey as his hitting coach, dating back to AAA. So those are difficult decisions to make. Ultimately, I believe it to be in the best interest of the organization, and that's what I have in mind.
When you talk about that different voice as far as a hitting coach, what are you looking for out of Jim to be able to be successful with this lineup right now?
Seattle's going to tie this game up shy with a home run. It's a 1-1 tie now.
I'm sorry, Gooby, I got locked in on
I know, I'm so used to seeing that against me, I'm trying to hide from those things, especially when it's the opponent hitting that ball out.
You and me both. Yeah. But if you wouldn't mind repeating, going back into it, I got a vapor lock.
Well, I think when it comes down to, you talked about that different voice. What are you looking for to Jim to be able to have that conversation with the hitters? We saw him go in after a short press conference today to go in and talk to the hitters. What do you think that philosophy is going to be able to change the course of this offense right now?
Well, what we'd like to see is the guys go out there, have a calmer approach in the box, not panic, chasing pitches out of the strike zone. We've been the worst in baseball in that regard, chasing pitches outside the strike zone. It has to be consistent. The message has to be consistent. And we've got to learn how to pass the baton 1 through 9 in our lineup, how to manufacture runs. We talk about the most simplistic of offensive game plans. Get them on, get them over, get them in. We failed to deliver in those situations, right down to the get them on. And we have to do that more consistently than we have been.
As far as the interim tag, is there an interim tag? Is Jim the guy the rest of the year, and then you'll reevaluate the situation as you get into the offseason?
There is no interim tag. I'm not a big believer in the interim tag. I've worn it before, and it makes it very difficult to do your job every day or have the authority with the receiver. But, spoke to Jim today, spoke to him last night. He's aware of the situation here. We'll assess as we go forward. We want to give Jim every opportunity to sink his teeth into this job and prove that it should be his long term. He's got a great history in this organization and in baseball.
Yeah, Jim's been with this organization for over 10 years, player, coach, instructor. But is this a signal to perhaps maybe to the clubhouse, whether it's a coaching staff or otherwise, that the buck stops with you, that not afraid to pull the trigger if you need to?
Not at all. I don't think that's the message at all. The message is we should be better than we are. And this is a results-oriented game, and we expect better results.
Jerry, you look at the team right now, not where you want to be, obviously. That's an easy thing to say. But the reality is there's some things that are good. You see Trout, see Trumbo both progressing, and of course the starting staff. So there's a lot of good things certainly going on to be able to put it all together if everyone gets the same message and start playing better baseball.
And that's really all you want to see. We could Trout and Trumbo. We've gotten terrific performance from Jared Weaver, from C.J. Wilson. Scott Downs has been tremendous. We added Ernesto Frieri. He's been great since we got him, and hope that continues. We watched a turnaround for Jordan Walden since being removed from the closer spot, and he's re-establishing what he's about, is going out there and challenging with velocity. We've had good contributions from Howie Kendrick, others on the club. This is not it's not a wholesale failure, and this is not to point Mickey out as the lone culprit in our guilt. We are all responsible for what happens with this team every day, myself included, and we're going to continue to make the moves that we feel like we need to make to ensure our present and future success.
Jerry, I want to ask you about, aside from this whole situation you had to deal with last night and obviously into today, but Torii Hunter a couple of days ago being placed on the restricted list. There's no real time frame for a return. What the mindset for you and having to deal with a situation like that? Torii was struggling for a little bit, but he obviously a key component to this ball club.
Very, both on the field and off. Torii is an integral part of our clubhouse and a huge part of the energy on our club every day. Great teammate, I think admired by 24 of his teammates, and that's rare in the game. These are instances where you can't have a care for anything but Torii and his family right now. And however long it takes for Torii to come back, that's how long it takes.
And is that correct in that it could be a day, it could be however long? There's no, from a Major League Baseball standpoint, restricted list is whatever that individual needs.
Undetermined period of time.
When you look at, you watched Jerome Williams out on the hill for you today. What a story he is, and the fact is the adjustment. You remember you saw him in the National League when he first came up, a power guy, making that adjustment to a lot of movement, a lot of placement of the fastball, his split finger fastball, slider, all those little things to be able to get ground ball outs. What a story he is for you.
I think he's been a tremendous story. It's been a revelation for me because I saw Jerome at one point 10 years ago, and much different pitcher today. He's been through some challenges in life. He battled the adversity, and he's come out on top. I think he's a much more mature person than he was when he started out, and he'll tell you that. And his pitching style, and I'll use this as a citing something that Jerome did in Texas that I thought was extraordinary, where he went out there and he battled in a very difficult situation picking up for CJ during that rain game.
Alejandro Diaz is going to score on the double by Gordon Beckham with 2 outs here in the third, and the White Sox now with a 2-1 lead. Jerry, we know you're busy, and we certainly appreciate your time. And as always, you've been as forthright as you've been since day one here, and we certainly appreciate your time as always.
That's my pleasure, Rick.
Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, man. Mike Butcher.